Good afternoon, race fans. And today, we're back at Daytona, but a little bit different here for race number 8 of the Blazing Pedal Arca series presented by TRJ Karting. Tonight, we're making left and right hand turns. You know what that means, folks. We're at the Daytona road course. We're going to see who can wheel it both directions as tonight. Once again, it's going to be about managing these general tires, but both the left-hand, right-handers, as we'll see wear on front and rear tires. It's going to be a wild one here, as there are some tricky places too around this place. One such area is going down into the fast number turn 1 right at the start-finish line. Drivers will have to get it woed on up and get it safely down another. We're looking at it there, the final chicane before the start-finish line. Those are some pretty big sausage turtles there that will really upset a car if a driver hits that wrong. And then, of course, the other last major tricky spot here is the high-speed bus stop on the backstretch. We got the Ferris wheel in full effect here, got the rides going, and we're going to get ready for some wild racing action here as we look at the speed charts on the left of our screen here. The end of practice wrapping on up in the final minute here. James Miller in the 09 machine is the quickest around here so far. Pretty close to half a second better than our second driver, who is Jamie Walker, once again in the top 3 in practice. That 88 machine always has a ton of speed. Brian Dees in the 17 machine is in third. Fourth is Matt Gruenberg. And rounding out our top 5 from practice speeds is Dalton Kilroe. So we got a race on our hands tonight. 58 laps around this Daytona road course. This thing hosts, of course, the prestigious 24 Hours of Daytona right around in the February time frame. So we'll see how these drivers handle it here tonight as we get ready for our qualifying session here. And we'll see who can get the MF Racing Designs pole award and who will get the second place to get the front row award. There's some money on the line always in qualifying. We'll see who can take it here, as this is our first wild card race of the season, the road course. We'll wait for drivers to roll off of pit road here and get underway. It's a long outlap here to get ready, and a lot of places to make a mistake around this track, so everyone's got to be very cautious when it comes down to it. While we wait for drivers to get on up to speed, we're going to go hit the stage caution wheel a little bit early here, and we'll find out when the caution is going to come out tonight. We give it a good spin here, folks, and it looks like we'll get, it looks like my wheel did not update on this end, so we'll give it a couple spins here, see if we get a number that we like. And there we go, 29, a lot better of a number, so we will get our stage caution on lap number 29. We'll go back live here and see who's out on track and who's trying to put down a lap time. As we get some drivers rolling on up to speed here. And it looks like we'll take a look at, I want to say, the number 10 machine of Taylor Butcher Benjamin. We got him going down the backstretch here, getting into the bus stop. We'll see if someone's maybe a little bit closer to the start-finish line. As these guys get ready for their first time lap. It looks like everyone about the same place. Maybe Josh Rutherford a little bit further ahead. So we'll watch this 64 machine as he locks it on up for the first time for the front stretch chicane, as he will come and take his first time lap. As we see the 64 machine get big time sideways into one. That's one of the 3 trickiest corners around this place. So we see just how tricky it is. You got to haul so much speed into it and then really woe up these Arca cars. And these cars still are very sensitive to heat and tire wear. You can really burn off these rear tires in a hurry, especially with locking them up like we saw out of the 64 here of Josh Rutherford. But lap number 1, the name of the game, especially around here at the Daytona road course, is just getting a lap. First one, just got to hit your marks. Make sure the car stays in one piece. You don't get any X's or anything from going off track that disallows a lap time. You just want to make sure you got 1 lap in, and then your second lap you can go after it. Drop the hammer and see where you can end on up. As you see the 64 machine going through the gears from 3rd to 4th. This is one of the fastest parts of the track down the backstretch. But now they go to the tricky bus stop here. Got to woe it on up and then send it through this fast left, right, left-hander turn. As we see the 64 machine now going to turns 3 and 4. Now he'll woe it down here for the final chicane of the lap. You got to really enter wide in the first one to really cut it and get a straight shot off. But Josh Rutherford will go, as of right now, to P number 2 on the timing and scoring. We'll see if he can do a better lap this time. Now Dalton Kilrow goes to the top of the board. And it looks like, folks, maybe only 1 lap as we now look to the 38 machine of Brandon Feeney. Already halfway through on his lap as he goes through turns 3 and 4 here for the Liquid Molly number 38 machine. As we will reload our timing score on the left, that looks a little bit better. So Dalton Kilrow right now to the top of the board. We'll see who can knock him on off. We got Ty Marasco, just started his first time lap, made it through turns 1 pretty good. We'll see where he can go. Mr. No Practice himself. Pretty tough to do no practice here at a road course. But we'll see where the 1 car can slot on in for his qualifying time. Right now, James Miller goes to the top of the board by a whole second. So that 09 machine looking very fast out here. He's looking like the car to beat as he's the fastest in practice. Currently the fastest here in qualifying. As we see Ty Marasco making his way through turns 1 and 2 of the oval. Now we'll go down to the high-speed bus stop here. They'll hit the brakes at the the 2 or 3 marker. I'm not 100% sure where. We'll ride along with some cars to really get a sense during race time. But right now, these guys pushing these cars to the absolute limit, trying to find where they can make up time and see who can beat that 09 machine. Matt Gruenberg, James Miller's in the 09 machine's teammate, goes P number 2. Mark Arthur now puts in a time to P number 3. We'll see where this 1 car goes as he's about to cross the start-finish line. He will go 13th on the board as they stand. Now we look at the number 16 machine of Ian Habiak. He heads to the final chicane, does it right, keeps it wide through the first part so he can cut it, get a straight shot off, and man, that was a heck of a last chicane there. That's pretty good. We'll see where that puts the 16 machine here. as it looked like he had maybe some sort of issue. His lap does not count. So we'll look to the 17 of Brian Dees, was in the top 5 in practice. We'll see where he ends up here in qualifying as he hits the start-finish line here. He will go P number 6, so just outside of that top 5. As Kyle Wellman has a little bit of damage to that 42 machine. Looks like he's just out here practicing some more laps. As right now we only have 18 cars of the about the 30 that have showed up that have put in a lap, or at least that can put in a lap, because if you get an incident, you cannot count that lap. And it only seems like we only get 1 lap here tonight at Daytona, so you got to make your 1 lap count here. We already got some guys in YouTube chat lands already not the most optimistic outlook. We got the 38 machine out here saying, bet I don't win. Well, you never know at road courses. It could go south for anyone at any time. All it takes is one mistake, especially in a tough corner like the bus stop, turn 1, or that last chicane, and all blows the doors open. Of course, we got Lori cheering on Mark like normal. We got the normal Mark Arthur fan club out there. Love to see it. And then we have Tanner Marr saying he does not enjoy these road courses. So looks like Tanner, one of those drivers, not in with a lap time. So it's going to be interesting. And Brad, if you're interested, be sure to check them out on Facebook or on their Discord. We could set you up with the right people here. But first and foremost, they are a league here on iRacing. Run Sunday nights, as you see right now, and a pretty good group of guys. But I'll be sure to get you in with the right people if you stick on around. But be sure to check them on out in with the Facebook link in the description. And hopefully that'll lead you down the right route. As we get to the end of qualifying, we will see, it looks like James Miller and Matt Gruenberg will be tonight's front row drivers and get the MF Racing Design Pole Award. So we'll see how these drivers handle this race here as we get ready to go down trackside. Get ready for the grid. And we got them already up on the backstretch getting ready to roll. So James Miller in the 09 machine already won a race here this season. Starts on the pole to his outside. Matt Gruenberg in the 54 machine. So a Team AV front row lockout. Row number 3 looks like Mark Arthur in the 12. Don Kilrow in the 41 will start 4th. Jamie Walker in 5th, and the 88 machine will round out the top 5. 6th place is Brian Dees in the 17. 7th goes to Jason Powell in the 18. 8th is Derek Paulson in the 6. 9th is Corey Sherman in the 3. And rounding out our top 10 is Race Clark in the 02. Randy McCanney in the 27 machine will start 11th. 12th goes to Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Jordan McAvoy in the 21 will start 13th. 14th goes to Ty Marasco in the 1. Josh Rutherford in the 64 will start 15th. 16th is Brandon Feeney. 17th is Amanda Sherman. 18th, Chris Legou. 19th, Sam Bumgarden in the 57. And Phil Van Fleet in the 89 will round out the top 20. 21st is Fred Thompson in the 46. 22nd will go to Chris Carroll. 23rd is Casey Campbell. 24th is Randy McAvoy. Joe Abrico will start 25th. 26th is Brad Collins. 27th, Terry Foster. 28th, Kyle Wellman. 29th, Corey Rutherford. 30th is Ian Habiak. 31st, Tanner Marr. 32nd is John Perkins. And that will round out tonight's starting field here for race number 8 at the Daytona Road Course. This one's going to be interesting, folks. Going to be action-packed as we get rolling here and get ready to go green flag racing. We'll have these cars, of course, go through the bus stop here, the final chicane, and then wait on the leader to fire on off. James Miller with a new paint job, but still got the Snap-on sponsorship. Matt Grunberg with the neon yellow and black. These guys taking a qualifying time, and I respect them doing it here at the road course. They definitely know how important track position is, keeping out of the craziness, and that's going to be the key here tonight. If you can keep this car facing the right direction for all the laps, doesn't matter what kind of pace you have, you'll be sitting pretty by the end of this race. As we get ready to go racing here, the sun is setting here at Daytona. Looking like some awesome shots coming as the sun continues to set. We'll wait for the iRacing pace car to roll off of pit road. We'll wait for the 09 machine to fire on off as we see the field accordion. And we get the green flag. We are racing here at the Daytona road course. Pretty even start from our front row. And we'll watch them all dive into turn number 1. We'll see if anyone has any issues. But up front, looking pretty good. The 54 maybe a little bit wide. That almost opens up the door for the 88 machine of Jamie Walker, who now is in third. As we see them all heading into the horseshoe here. And already single filing on out here at the front of the field. Everyone making sure they keep these cars in one piece, and so far everyone keeping their cars on track. As we see the 17 maybe thinking about going to the inside, backs on out of it, but definitely showing some pretty good pace out of this 17 machine here. As we already get some separation here. James Miller a second ahead already early in this race over his teammate Matt Grunberg. Everyone making it through the bus stop here for the most part pretty clean. Looks like everyone able to hit their marks and get on through it. As we continue to look at cars heading through there. As one car goes off, trying to let cars on by. I think that was a 73 of Casey Campbell. He gets it back on track. No harm, no foul. But we are already one lap in of this 58 lapper. Don Kilroe slowly closing the gap here on the 54 machine. As it looks like we got a little bit of trouble here. The 46 and the 22 may have gotten into each other here in the final chicane. We'll have to see what happened here on the replay. As the 46 machine looks to be on his own for the most part. We'll have to see what happened. As 46 coming in there late. A little bit of lockup from the 42 in front. And oh man, a pretty big impact on the rear of the 22. Luckily keeps it rolling, but a pretty hard hit there from those two drivers here early in this race. Looks like now Corey Rutherford having a little bit of issue. Went off track, he's back on track. It looks like now the 73 machine of Casey Campbell looped it as well. So the mistakes start here on lap number 1 to lap number 2 for the most part. As most of the field is pretty close together, except for James Miller. I mean, he is already checked out to about a 2-second lead. So this 09 machine on some incredible pace. The question is he wearing out his stuff too much? Or is he just that good at turning left and right in these NASCAR style cars? Because he is making it look very easy out here, folks. But I know many of sim racers especially that can run a few good fast laps, but then when it comes down to making those laps count over and over, it's tough to do, especially with how these Arca cars are so temperature sensitive to these tires. As we'll throw up their road course track map on the right of your screen. This will show you where all your favorite drivers are at. It will show what driver we're looking at, highlighted in green right now. We're looking at the 09 machine, our leader of James Miller, but also all of our racing competitors' numbers as well. So we'll leave that up on screen as this field continues to get more and more spread out. As it looks like, oh man, some trouble for the 38 machine of Brandon Feeney. Looks like into turn number, I want to say 5. Looks like he had some issue, as we'll go back and see as a little bit further back than turn number 5 on the replay. It looks like the final chicane here on the track, and it looks like just gets in too hot, locks him on up, gets too much rear brake, and just barely kisses that wall. But that causes the 38 to lose quite a few positions here as he gets back going all the way in 26th. As now the 73 continues the struggles. That Busch Gardens machine has seen better days as he puts it in the tire barriers coming out of the infield. And that might be the end of the 73 machine's night. As the battle for second and back kind of heating up, Dalton Kilroe still all over the back bumper of the 54 of Matt Grunberg. Not letting him get away, having him make mistakes like that, and that just keeps on opening up the door for the 41 machine here at Daytona. One car we haven't talked about, he started deep in this field. Now inside the top 10, the 24 machine of Chris Carroll. One of the biggest movers of the race as they sit right now. He is in the top 10 right now in 10th position and looking pretty good. He's passed 12 cars so far and continue to catch some cars in front of him. Also another big mover. He had to start from pit road for whatever reason. He couldn't start in his third position. Was Mark Arthur, all the way up into 18th as they run. So he's a man on a mission. It may not show it in the timing and scoring, but where he actually started, he is looking pretty sporty in that Barbie number 12 machine. As we continue to see this field work their way around this famous road course. Like I said, holding the Daytona 24 hours for many, many years, trying to get that Rolex watch. These guys looking for a win to lock them into their playoffs here. As Mark Arthur catching the man that's passed the most amount of cars so far in the start of this race, that'd be the number 16 of Ian Habiak, has got around 13 cars so far early in this race. But now the 16 comes under fire for the first time here. That'd be by the 12 of Mark Arthur. We'll keep our eyes on this 3-car battle as they are catching Amanda Sherman in that number 8 machine. As it looks like some trouble for the number 83 machine. He keeps it rolling pretty nice though as he works his way through this infield part of the road course. We see Mark Arthur now get around Ian Habiak in turn 2 on the super speedway. We'll get ready to head into the fast bus stop here. You can see Mark Arthur outbraking the number 8 by at least a full car length. But has to get on the binders extra hard to get that car woed on up to prevent from getting into her. Now he'll get the draft just a little bit and head into this tough last chicane. Seen Ian Habiak go to the inside, get all over that sausage curb. May have had to jump out of there to prevent from getting in the back of Mark Arthur as they still get held up as the 8 now, as they'll go side by side here into turn 1. Amanda Sherman lets the 12 go and now the 16, so they both get around the 8 there in that corner. Now Corey Rutherford's trying to throw his name into this mix as well. Now we have a battle here. Phil Van Fleet on Corey Rutherford, that 89 Mopar machine, looking pretty sporty, up 6 positions since the start of this race, and now finds his way into this top 15 as they run. So Phil Van Fleet looking pretty good here early at the Daytona road course for this Dodge Mopar machine. As we see the 21 machine of Jordan McAvoy get big time sideways in the bus stop. Somehow keeps that car underneath him, only losing 1 spot to Phil Van Fleet as we saw on track there. But heck of a save and keeping the damage down to a minimum from that 21 machine. Yeah, so a little update on Mark Arthur. Seeing Lori asking what happened to him. Thought he started P3. He was supposed to, but apparently missed the call to grid. There's a timer on the grid availability. I guess the 12 machine was not ready in time when the car started rolling. Had to start from his pit stall and make his way through this field here tonight. So far has passed, I want to say, probably 30, at least 31 cars took the green flag. So has gone through about close to half this field as he runs P number 16 so far, but has a lot of fast cars in front of him as the 16 machine has an issue. Ian Habiak facing the wrong way on track here as he heads into turn number 4 or 5, I want to say. We'll have to see what happened to the number 16 machine here, as my guess would be got on the binders a little bit too hard with a little bit too much rear brake and just lost the back end. Had to whip it around, keep it out of traffic, and has to get this thing refired, whip it on, get it going the right way. He loses around 6 spots because of that now. So the 16 machine now runs in P number 23. As we look at our leader here, James Miller with the best lap time, of course, of the race so far. He ran a 1:54.9. His last time by was a 1:57.65, but Matt Grunberg was a 1:57.68. So first and second, pretty much exactly same lap times here. You see that rotor starting to heat up just a little on that 09 machine under braking. Saw it turning a smidge red. Just shows you how hard these guys are on the binders for these corners. As we see Tanner Marr trying to put the pressure on the 71 machine of Chris Legou. This is the battle for 24th as they sit. And the 4 machine had to get on the binders a little bit extra hard right before the apex. That caused them to lock them up just a little and go straight instead of being able to turn, because these tires, especially on these heavy cars, they can only do one thing at a time. I like to say they can either turn or brake. It's hard to get them to ask them to do both. So you got to pick and choose what you want those tires to do, whether it's to turn or to brake. As we see drivers doing mostly quite that, trying to brake hard, especially straight, then let it roll to the apex. And of course, then it's being smooth as you can on the loud pedal, especially in these tough right-hand turns. As it looks like the 83 machine with some heavy damage, that is Joe Alberico. His night may be over here in turn number, I want to say turn number 3 of the speedway. Yeah, turn number 3 may have got him in the International Horseshoe. He'll try and get it rolling, but that car seemed very damaged, as well as looks like Randy McAvoy also had some issue. We'll try and get him as well, but we'll go back up to the front. There's no real changes, but Chris Carroll continues to charge through this field. He is now up to P number 7 as they drive on around here. As he continues to apply the pressure, now he's on the back bumper of Derek Paulson in that 6th machine. This is the battle for 6th on track. You see Derek get big time loose. The 24 reacts. He gets loose too, but he gets to the inside. He may have a run. It'll be interesting to see if they go side by side in the bus stop. I think it's way too early for that, because that gets very challenging very quickly. As the 7 machine did have an issue of Randy McAvoy. He is now pit side as well. So we've had 3 cars have to go behind the wall so far in the Daytona road course, as Chris Carroll now up to P number 6. And these guys are racing to lap number 29, as that is when the caution provided by yours truly will come on out. It will split up this race, but it looks like we have our first taker down pit road. It will be the 54 of Matt Grunberg coming on in, and we'll see if he takes any tires or if it's just going to be a splash and go. If we see the right sides go up, that should mean the left sides go up as well. So an interesting strategy here from the 54 machine down pit road. The only one to do it. As James Miller gets his right rear in the dirt, gets a big time sideways under brake and keeps that thing underneath him, but that shows you just how perfect you have to be for laps around this place, because One thing like that can cause you to make a mistake, spin it on out, do whatever. Your worst case, end up in the tire barriers, especially with this damage model. That is going to be close to a race end if that happens to you. So we'll jump on board with the 09 machine here, and we'll get to see what he is doing to make himself so quick around this Daytona road course. For the MF Racing Design, or the TRJ on board from James Miller. As we do that, folks, he comes down pit road, so the number 09 machine down pit road here in this race. Leader down. Looks like the rest of the field will come on in as well. Chris Carroll gets big time loose in there in the last chicane, I should say. And it looks like most of the field coming out down pit road. But Derek Paulson's going to try and stay out there and make it another lap. So the 6th car, the only one so far, still on out there. We'll keep an eye on Matt Grunberg. He's going to have to come out in front of the 09 machine if he wants to beat him there, as he won't quite do that. The question is, will he beat the 41 off of pit road? It looks like that is a no as well, but that is because the 41 only took fuel. He did not take tires, so we'll have to see what the speed difference is of these two drivers, as the 41 able to leapfrog the 54 with a little bit of strategy. It looks like trouble for the 71 machine. Chris Legou may have gotten into an incident there, as that car looks pretty alright. But we'll go back to this battle for 3rd on track. As the 54 able to put that power down with those new tires, should be able to drag race on by that 41 by the time they get to that bus stop. Matt Grunberg takes the position. He reclaims back P number 2, as the 6th car of Derek Paulson should be coming into pits this time. We'll see him stay to the left out of this chicane. Bring that 6th car down pit road, as we see the 09 machine take back the race lead. So James Miller will lead this lap and reclaim the race lead, of course. Also down pit road a little bit later is the one of Ty Marasco. He is now down pit road as well. As the last car on the lead lap is the 4 of Tannemar. He's going to have to run these next 15 laps pretty strong to prevent that 09 machine to catch him, as he does get around Brad Collins. So that'll put Brad Collins, the last car, not a lap down. As you see, they're about half a track in front of this race leader, but that could change in a hurry. Has a little bit of trouble now for, if I can find them here. Trouble for a couple of cars in a row here. Amanda Sherman off track. Same with Corey Rutherford. Corey Rutherford off track for a long time. Not sure what happened with that 5 machine. We'll try and see what happened as he heads to turn. Oh, and turn number 2 just catches the grass, and that sends you into a big slide in the middle of the infield section. And he tries to bring it back on track, and that can get sketchy in a hurry. But that spot, easy to put 2 tires off there. It's such a fast pace. You don't have to lift after you go into turn number 1. That little zigzag right by pit road, you don't have to lift. But if you catch that grass, it could bite you in a hurry, and that's what we saw from this 5 machine here, as now he runs P number 19 as a 71 machine. Has a little bit of more issues, looks like, coming out of the bus stop. We'll see what happened to the number 71 machine, and actually coming out of the infield section of this Daytona road course. As old man just carried a little bit too much speed into that last corner of the infield, and then locked him up and just went straight into that pit barrier. Luckily, not too damaged, this 71 machine, so he's going to keep on getting after it, but he's got to keep those mistakes to a minimum to prevent from being a lap down, as the 22 machine about to be the next car a lap down. We see the gap to the leader right around 10 car lengths or so, and closing quickly. I'm going to keep my eye on these last couple laps, but Matt Gruenberg able to keep on closing this gap of this race leader. Matt has the newer tires. He did pit for tires that last time. Most of the field did not, I want to say. Actually, it's a pretty even split between the field on taking tires or not. So Matt Gruenberg about a second quicker a lap and closing it on up. But he is still 3 seconds back, so gotta have 3 perfect laps to catch him with the same differential pace that he is having. As if you think this race is getting a little spread out, just get ready for this competition caution, because we'll bunch them all back up and do it again. This time drivers knowing what to expect on these short runs, so we'll see a lot more take and a lot less give, as it'll be right on halfway of this race. As looking through this field, we'll run through our running order right now. James Miller leading the way. Matt Gruenberg giving chase, still 3 seconds back of our race leader. Dalton Kilroe running in P number 3. Brian Dees in the 4th position. Jamie Walker now in a white and orange number 88 machine running in 5th. Chris Carroll all the way up into P number 6. He is trying to chase down the 88 to a top 5. Randy McCanney and the number 27 machine runs in the 7th position. He's looking pretty good in that McDonald's machine. We got Race Clark in the 02 machine running in 8th. Jason Powell in the 18 running in 9th. Corey Sherman in the Savage Edge machine. Number 3 is running in 10th. And we'll jump one more position back as he heads to this final chicane. It is Mark Arthur in that number 12 machine all the way back up into P number 11. So he's knocking on the door of the top 5. And that's what he needs to do. He needs to get around as many cars as he can before this competition caution on 29. So maybe now we'll get some onboard from our race leader, James Miller. Hear him go through these gears, his break points, and see what he is doing to make this 09 machine so wicked fast around this Daytona road course. Here he is in fourth. Right around here, I think you want to, lift just before the 5, into third, into second there. Keep it to the left. Get a straight shot off. Doing everything right. Now here's where I want to see where they're lifting. Right before that stop sign on the other side of the fence there. Rolls around turn number 1. Here's turn number 2, folks. Making sure he doesn't get in the grass. Here's the international horseshoe, or turn number 3. A little wide, but that's alright as long as you get a good exit on off. Here we go to turn number 4. This one's almost flat out on new tires. I think you can. This one's always tough because you go straight and then you got to brake and then try and hit this double apex of 5. And this one, if you carry too much speed, you're going straight into those barriers that you see straight on there. Now we're outside of the infield and onto the big track we go. Going through the gears, getting up to 4th gear. Here's one of the fastest spots on the track, right before the bus stop. Right about here, I think we're braking probably right around the 2, just before the 2. Float it on in there, get enough turn where you can try and go straight through that. Get a turn right and just miss that turtle on the inside. You got to do that 58 more times and do all those turns as perfectly as you can as a driver. Looks like the 83 machine with a little bit more trouble. He's back out on track. But right now, Jason Powell trying to reel in Corey Sherman. This would be the battle for 9th on track as this sun continues to set here at Daytona. The lights are coming on the racetrack as we transition this race over to the nighttime is the right time. As we look at our race leader, we'll throw to commercial break and we'll be back on the other side here in about a minute. And we are back here at Daytona, lap number 18 of 58. In 11 laps, we will get our competition caution and bunch up this field. But while we're gone, a few drivers having a incident. Looks like Ian Habiak went off track, finding himself in the grass. Same with the number 5 machine of Corey Rutherford. Both of those drivers heading back in the right direction here, but losing a few spots because of it. James Miller now back on the pace and pulling away from his teammate of the 54 machine. So that 09 machine is going to be tough to beat here tonight. The only way someone's going to be in him, I'm going to go say it now, folks, if he beats himself, if he makes a very big mistake and throws this race away himself. If not, I think this is James Miller's race to lose. As we may see a Rutherford battle heating up here between Josh and Corey. Corey now within right around now a half a second of the 64 machine. So we'll see these guys go elbows out to each other as the 5 machine trying to get around the 64 here at the Daytona Road Course. The 64 machine gets a great launch out of that corner, but the 5 car driving it in deep to get back into striking position. Oh, 64 makes a big mistake out of the bus stop, hits that turtle very hard, and that's going to give the position P number 16 to the number 5 machine. As old man Randy McAvoy missed the last chicane there, he's going to have to slow it on up, give up that time that he gained because of it. But he was slowly starting to catch the 64 machine, but with that will move him right on back. As Brian Dees is now becoming under fire for 4th position. Jamie Walker applying the pressure and reeling in the 17 machine. Both of these drivers are on fresh tires, but that 88 machine seems to have some pretty good pace here. As we are about 10 laps to go here, folks, before our stage caution, as we have the leaders both down pit road at the same time. The 09 of James Miller and the 54 of Grunberg. James Miller still did not take tires. Grunberg did not take tires as well. So the 09 machine saving his tires for this end of this race. 2 stops so far without taking any. As even with pitting, folks, the 09 machine only falls back to P number 4 on track. But Brian Dees under heavy fire now from the 88 machine. This is one of the closest battles out on track. As well as Tanner Mark just getting around the 86 machine there for P number 22, but we'll keep an eye on this battle As we'll see if the 88 sends it into the bus stop. He has a slight run on the 17. Will it be enough? Jamie Walker thinks better of it there. A good call for this early in this race, but I don't always expect it to go that way because when this race gets on later, it's going to be go time all the time. As we see the 88 diving down pit road, Jamie Walker will lead the second round of pit stops. Chris Carroll will also follow him in the next car behind him. But Don Kilrose still stays out for another lap. He'll lead a lap here. As most of the top 5 and top 10 are heading down pit road this lap. Pit road is becoming a pretty busy place, but we see drivers rolling on out. Chris Carroll actually beats the 88 machine off of pit road. The 24 only taking fuel this time. The 88 does take tires, so we'll have to see what this difference is in speed as we'll keep an eye on this battle. As the 41 of Dalton Kilroe, Captain Fuel Safe, continues to lead this race. But he has not pitted yet as Chris Carroll lets the 88 go on through. He knows he's on new tires. He knows it's not his time to fight, especially this close to the end of the first stage. We'll keep an eye on this leader here as he heads into the final chicane here. As I assume we'll see the 41 down pit road this time, but I could be wrong. As we see just that, the 41 gives up the race lead. He'll be down pits. The 17 of Brian Dees will also follow, and that'll hand back over the race lead to James Miller in that 09 Snap-on machine. As we get some updates. Oh man, some heavy contact for Corey Sherman. We'll see what happened to the number 3 machine. He was in the top 10 and loses it in that bus stop, and some heavy front end damage to that number 3 machine. We also had some other cars go off track and whatnot. Ian Habiak, looks like Corey Rutherford, another one with some incident coming off out of the bus stop. The 5 machine. As he gets the wrong side of the grass, gets in it, and almost loses it. Ian Habiak loses it coming out of turn number 1. Not sure if he got help. There was some car right on his back bumper. There's also Chris Legou with some issues. So some drivers having some tough time on some cold tires here. As the 09 machine is trying to put the 6 of Derek Paulson a lap down. Not sure what happened with the 6. He was very close to the top 5, for sure in the top 10 the last that I noticed, and now he's all the way back to 25th. I didn't remember him going off track at all, so he must have had some sort of penalty or speeding in pits or whatnot, because he is now down in 25th and trying not to go a lap down, but the leader right on his back bumper here as they click over to lap number 23. We see the 21 of Jordan McAvoy rolling out of pit road just in front of these guys as well in that green and white machine. Having a little bit of connection issues there. Lets these guys go on by, and he now becomes the first car a lap down. So far, this 09 machine has put 18 cars, excuse me. He has put 14 cars a lap down from 18th on back. Don Kilroe trying to reclaim this third position from the 88 of Jamie Walker. We saw the 41 come in a few laps later than these other drivers. He has slightly fresher tires, and we'll see if he can get the most out of them as he is putting heavy pressure on the back bumper of this number 88 of Jamie Walker. And now it looks like the 10 machine of Taylor Butcher Benjamin with some sort of issue. He is slowed down on the apron. Not sure what happened to that car, but he takes that thing behind the wall, so not sure what happened there, but the 10 car with some issues as well. As we see Don Kilroe trying to get around this 88 machine. We will jump on board with him, but also get a shot of the sweet onboard that he provides from his webcam here. So we will get a piece of all the action here, see what it's like to have a car right in front of you, as well as get to see his live reaction, folks. We see it's getting very dark inside of these cars, especially in some of these corners where it is not too lit up around the speedway. All you got is the dash lights and hopefully your brake markers that you can still see around this dark track now that the sun has completely set. And this is always one of the toughest spots to be as a road course racer. You know you're faster than him in front of you, but you can't make a mistake. You can't push too hard or else you will end up losing a ton of time. But you also got to make sure you manage your tires as well as your fellow competitor. As we see Don Kilroe, of course, repping the VR so he can feel totally immersed in this virtual cockpit, be able to look around and whatnot. And of course tonight you also got to go through the gears here, trying to see. It looks like maybe he is using an H pattern. It looks like he is, so that's even more impressive, to not being able to see where you're at on the H pattern shifter but still be able to get through the gears like that. So pretty impressive stuff out of the 41 machine. I know, especially when I come to road courses, I tend to take out the realism, and I use my paddle shifters because they're easy right on the wheel and usually give me less mistakes than an H pattern shifter. I lost a race because of the H pattern shifter, and I said I'm never doing this again, and have not touched it since. But woo, that 41 machine loose out of turn number 2, trying to put that power down and getting a ton of wheel spin. but some awesome stuff here. As we're riding on board with the 41 of Dalton Kilrow. Captain Fuel Save himself, Mark Arthur, now, for all the Mark Arthur fans, now up into P number 9. You see these rotors glowing, especially on these front rotors with these heavy braking turns. We'll watch the one car of Time Rasco, see if his are glowing into this turn number 5, and especially under nighttime, you can see those rotors really start to glow, folks. As James Miller continues to click off another lap here at Daytona. We're on lap 26, competition caution coming at 29. As we look through our event log here, it looks like Brandon Feeney had a little incident, same with Jordan McAvoy. And the 09 machine still has not put that 6 car a lap down. Derek Paulson driving the wheels off of that thing to keep from going a lap down from our race leader here at Daytona. He's trying to make sure he can just keep this for another 3 laps before we get our competition caution. As James Miller is trying to be the second repeat winner here this season. The only other person to do it, he won the last 2 races, is Matt Grunberg, his teammate. So James Miller looking pretty good if he's able to add his name to that list. And so far, for sure looking like the car to beat here, as the 38 machine of Brandon Feeney. A little bit of issue, but keeps that thing going the right direction. As we go back to the race leader here. One driver we're looking at here, up 4 positions in the top 10. That is Randy McCanney. For sure don't recognize this paint scheme, and I want to say I have not seen Randy out here too much, but comes out here on the road course and doing pretty good for himself in this 27 machine. He is running in the 7th position here and doing a great job at it. As Joe Alberico, a little bit of issues in that corner. You heard someone get the wall pretty good. That was the 83 Michelob Ultra machine getting into the wall and gets that thing rolling here back on track. So Jamie Walker able to fend off Dalton Kilrow for the most part here, able to get himself a little bit of breathing room. And the 6 car still battling his heart out to stay on this lead lap, not letting the 09 machine get by at any time. as we see one car down pit road just before the stage caution. That'll be Dalton Kilroy. I like the move. I like the play. We'll see if anyone else is able to do it or if pit road will close before them. But I like the call out of the 41 machine to try and get some track position. And he is down pit road right before the end of this stage. As Corey Rutherford applying the pressure to Phil Van Fleet. He is all over the back bumper of him. Going into the bus stop, the 89 machine gets a great run out and will increase the gap just a little bit. James Miller now has 2 cars right in front of him. Well, 3 now. Now about to be 2 when he gets around this 46 machine, but as the 46 drives it on in there, misses his mark, has to cut the chicane and get on the brakes and give up the time there. But the 09 machine still all over the back bumper on the 6 here as we get the last lap before we get the competition caution. The 6 is going to do all he can to stay on the lead lap. As he has to fend him off one more time as contact, and the 09 machine hits the back of the 6. Now the question is, does the 09 machine put the 64 a lap down and now prevent the 6 car that's worked so hard of Derek Paulson out of the lucky dog spot, as the 09 of James Miller all over the back bumper of the 64 and gets around him there. So now Corey Rutherford goes to the lucky dog position. Now the 6 of Derek Paulson has to run him on down, but I don't think he's got enough time to do so. All sorts of drama here at the end before we got to bunch him back up, folks. As we get to the end of this stage here, James Miller, the car to beat, but the lucky dog will go to the 64 as the 09 machine comes down pit road. He will pit just before the end of the stage. We'll have to see if that counts, if that's allowed, but he crosses the start finish line in pit road. We'll have to see what that does. But Jamie Walker now crosses the start finish line on track. Brian Dees is in second right now. James Miller rolls out of pit road and the yellow flag for the stage comes on out. And we'll have to see where that racks everyone up and what kind of strategies are played as we'll get this field. We'll try and catch this pace car. As right after the yellow, the 89 with a little bit of an incident. We'll have to see what happened. As Phil Van Fleet, got into that corner a little too hot. Luckily, not too much front end damage, but You hate to damage a race car under yellow flag, as these guys try and get back to the pace car wherever that may be at. We'll see if we can find where the pace car is at. Pace car is still on pit road, so we'll have to wait for the 88 to probably at least get a little bit closer, and the pace car will probably start rolling, but these guys getting on back to the front stretch if they can. And then pit road should be open. But with the leader pitting, that unlaps Josh Rutherford and Derek Paulson. So that 6 car able to stay on the lead lap, even with that little fiasco. As the pace car finally pulls on out of pit road there, and we'll get this field 2 well on up. It looks like the 42 machine of Kyle Wellman will be the lucky dog under this caution. We are under yellow flag here, folks, joining us for our one and only yellow. We had the stage caution brought on out from the randomized wheel here on lap number 29. This time by the pit road will open up for this field, and we'll see who comes in, who does what. As we'll wait to see who comes down pit road. And they get a little bit closer, but right now we got most of the field here bunched on up. Most of the field ready to make it happen. Right now, one of our biggest movers in this race is our third place driver, Chris Carroll, in that 24 machine. Now up a whopping 19 positions. Another driver that's been on the move is Mark Arthur. Had to miss the start, but now back inside the top 10, running in the 9th position. But the question is now, what happens with strategy? Who comes in? Who stays out? As the 88 will lead him down pit road. Who will follow? It looks like most of the field does. Matt Gruenberg stays on out. Same with the 09 machine of James Miller. So most of the field coming on in to take fuel and tires, but a few of them staying on out. As we see Jamie Walker leading the way off of pit road. He only takes fuel, doesn't take tires. Interesting call. I think if I were any of these drivers coming in under yellow flag conditions, I would take those tires, since the pit stop doesn't matter how long I take. But the 42 machine of Kyle Wellman was waved on around this field. He will go get his lap back. It looks like the 83 of Alberico may get waved on around here, depending if he does not come into pit road under this yellow. So that makes it 17 cars back on this lead lap here, with about, when we go green flag racing, it will be inside of 25 laps to go. So we'll have to see if these drivers can stretch their fuel. Seems like you can go around 10 or 11 laps, but we'll have to see if drivers can make it to lap 13 and lap 12, both on one set of tires, as well as a full tank of fuel. As Ty Marasco has thrown his name into this hat of these front runners. Currently sitting P number 2 with staying on out with the 54 and the 09 machine. So we'll have to see how this plays on out for the 1, but I'm liking the call. As it sounds like we have one driver with a little bit of connection issues. Hopefully we'll get that sorted on out. And now pit road opens on up for lap down cars, and we'll see if the lights get extinguished on the iRacing Porsche safety car. And they do. So we will re-rack them on up here and get ready for one more pace lap here around the Daytona road course, and we'll let him go at it here for the last 25 laps. We get ready to go back green flag racing. James Miller will be one of the lowest positions he's been in all night, especially in green flag racing conditions. I'll be down in 3rd place. I think this 18 machine is one of the drivers with a little bit of connection issues. We see it there on screen. Not the best. Hopefully it clears on up when they go back green flag racing. That one machine of Ty Marasco is ready to get it on. He's right on the door of the 54 machine. As we have one car go a little bit wide. That's the 88 of Jamie Walker. Gonna have to get back on the loud pedal, get back up into position. I'm surprised these guys are side by side for this long. It's a long pace lap to be pacing side by side like this, especially when We got this tough bus stop to negotiate here. One driver to watch through this restart. Derek Paulson in the 6. Same with the 12 of Mark Arthur. The 18 of Jason Powell. All we need to keep an eye on. Same with Corey Rutherford. He's up 18 positions as they stand. So got to keep an eye on this bunch. See if they can make the most of this field being bunched back up here and get ready to go back. Green flag racing. As we still got a couple more corners. We'll see if everyone can navigate this bus stop here together. It looks like pretty good for the most part. And then we just got to go through this last chicane. If we can do that, we're ready to go back. Green flag racing here at Daytona. As the iRacing pace car heads down pit road, we'll wait for the 54 machine to fire on off. And we'll get ready for green flag racing as he gets a great restart. Ty Marasco now side by side with James Miller here going into turn number 1. And the rest of the field will follow. We'll look back at the top here from the spotter stand and see if everyone can keep these cars going in the right direction. Everyone seems to get out of there pretty well, as it looks like we got a tough battle coming here from 4th to 6th. These cars all under a blanket here. As most everyone keeps it going in the right direction. Everyone. As we get to see this 09 machine try and reel in the leader of Matt Grunberg. Grunberg trying to make it 3 in a row. James Miller trying to get 2 wins in this season. Both of these drivers, of course, in the top 2 have won at least once already. As the battle from 3rd on back, heating on up. Ty Marasco falling back just a little bit. The 24 of Chris Carroll trying to find an opening around. Also the 41 of Dalton Kilroe trying to make it interesting as well. As we got a few cars in an incident. It looks like Kyle Wellman, Ian Habiak, and maybe the 22 machine. They just meet together, just barely get into it from the turtle. And they try and get it on rolling. Not sure what happened to the 22 machine, but we go back up to this battle here. Brian Dees was able to get around the 1 machine, but Ty Marasco able to hold his own against the 24. Ty still sitting in the 4th position as they run. with heavy pressure behind from the 24 and the 41. As these guys send it on down into the bus stop, they try and make it on work. Chris Carroll is so good through that section. You see him close on up to the one car. He's going to have a run on him. The question is, does he take it into the chicane? It can be very tricky. We just saw the 42 and the 16 get into it there. The 24 will dive it on there. Way outbreaks the one. Will he get it rolled down enough? He will. Give P number 4 to the 24. He is up a whopping 18 positions. Dalton Kilrow will get on around. Looks like trouble for the 8 car here of Amanda Sherman. Not sure what happened to her, but a very similar looking incident to the 10 machine of Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Kind of parking it as well. So not sure what happened to the 8 there. As we go back live, and Dalton Kilrow trying to get that 4th position away from that 24 machine. As Corey Rutherford gets big time loose off of that corner, that will open up the door for Jason Powell to get on around. As Derek Paulson comes in with a deep send, he just barely keeps it off the back bumper of the 5 and somehow keeps that car on track. But Derek Paulson trying to get through this field. As we have the 12 of Mark Arthur duking it out with Jamie Walker in that 88 machine. Jamie able to get on around and move himself back into the top 10 here. A little bit further up, Sam Bumgarner in that 57 machine. Haven't talked about him too much tonight. A different paint scheme for him, but he's running in the 8th position, doing very well for himself. Wasn't able to put in a qualifying time, but that didn't stop him inside the top 10 here, but under heavy fire from that McDonald's number 27 machine. Here as we get 22 laps to go. As Dalton Kilrow was able to get around the 24 of Chris Carroll. We'll see if Dalton can get around the 17 of Brian Dees. As Kyle Wellman gets a piece of the grass there. Gets that thing out of shape, but able to keep it underneath him. But has a car that's there half the time in front of him, and that's causing a mistake from the 42. He's got those rear tires hot, as he is not racing these cars around him for position. The number 1 machine starts to fall into the clutches of the 02 machine. Ty Marasco is being caught by Race Clark for P number 6 here on track. Oh man, and a big mistake there from the one car. That's going to open back up the door for the 02 and the 57 right there behind him as well. As this seems to be the place where the one car struggles in this infield section. He's pretty good on the big section as we saw him pull away from these guys, but this infield is definitely where this one car struggles. We'll see if he can make the most of this and keep those cars behind him. As the 38 has a little bit of issue into turn number 1. Gets that thing going the right direction though. As we see the battle for the race lead, about 0.6 of a second here. Matt Grunberg still able to lead the way, but James Miller keeping the pressure there in case the 54 makes a mistake. Race Clark has now closed in the gap to the one machine. He's drove away from that 57. Now we get the battle for 6th, heating on up. We'll see where this 02 machine can make a move as the one gets the curb on the first one. You're allowed to do that, but if you get on the second one, you usually will allow the car behind you to catch you because you just lose so much momentum. That's big time sparks from the one, but that's because my damage model doesn't quite represent theirs as it shows you the right front hanging on off. That's not quite the case for these cars around here. It just thought that he hit the turtle more than he did. That also brings into picture the 27 machine and the 88. So this battle very heating up for these 5 cars, all battling for position. Mark Arthur also right there as well, trying to catch these guys. As you see these guys glowing that right front rotor under braking, shows you how much they're stomping on these brakes to get these big heavy NASCAR style cars woed on up for these turns. And in the infield, they all bunch up, folks. And then now that they get on the big track of Daytona, then they all spread on back out. As, oh man, Jamie Walker, big time in that curve. The 27 machine of Randy McCanny makes a mistake there, and he gets in the wall hard. That, I think, is some actual damage to that 27 machine, folks. He will have to bring that thing down pit road. He was running so good. As we see second place, James Miller down pit road very early. Interesting call. Chris Carroll also down. Same with the one of Ty Marasco. We'll have to see how this sets it all up here. But these guys here still not done battling. As a tough break for that number 27 machine of Randy McCann. As Jamie Walker tries to send it on up the inside of the 57 of Bumgarner. Bumgarner had to kind of get out of his way, so they did not make contact, but that allows the 88 to get on by and move Jamie Walker back up into the top 5. He's in 5th position as they run. Now he sets his sights on the 02 machine of Race Clark. You get a little bit of lap traffic there. The 46 of Fred Thompson. Fred's running pretty good here. Keeping that thing facing the right direction, and that's the big thing you got to ask for from your driver here at Daytona Road Course. As I'd have to bet this time by, we'll see the 54 of Grunberg head down pit road. As no, the 54 continues to stay out on track. So we'll have to see when he decides to come on in. But a battle for second place here. Dalton Kilrow getting around the 17 of Brian Dees. Move the 41 machine to second place here as Race Clark and Sam Bumgarn in pit road this time by. As it's kind of simmered on down in the front of this field for the most part. But as I say that, a trouble for one of our front runners. The 24 machine of Chris Carroll. Got to find out where he's at, but having some sort of issue going into turn number 1. We'll see what happened to the 24 machine. Trying to make up time on those fresh tires under pitting, and holy smokes. That thing kind of locked up. He corrected it just a little, and that thing shot left. Wow. That thing unloaded very quickly, and he loses a bunch of valuable time because of that. I have to maybe see that again in a little bit slower speed, because holy smokes. Let's see if we can jump on board with the 24 and see what happened. Because it just looks like a normal corner. He gets in there, yeah, maybe a little bit hot on the brakes hard now. And does he? Oh, I think he downshifts too early, folks. Gets a little bit of wheel hop, and that was enough to send that 24 on around now that we rode on board with him. Now the 54 of Grunberg in pit road this time. Dalton Kilrow will stay out. He will inherit the race lead, so the 41 will be our new race leader here as green flag stops. Cycle on through. So James Miller does come out in front of Matt Grunberg. James Miller did not take tires. One of the few cars that did not take tires the last time in. So we'll have to see how this plays on out for the 09 machine. But remember, he didn't take tires any of those stops in that first run. So he might be doing the same, as he's trying to spend as little time on pit road as he can. The question is, will he have the pace out on track without those fresh rubber General tires? As we have the 41 machine of Dalton Kilrow approaching the final chicane. We'll have to see if he comes on in this time or if he stays out for another lap. As it is pretty hard to save fuel around this place with how large it is. As he does in fact stay out for another lap. He's going to try and one-stop it if he can in that 41 machine. Brian Dees is just barely closing the gap once again here on the 41 machine. A few takers that do come in this time by, though, are Mark Arthur, Jason Powell, and Corey Rutherford, all down pit road. as we have some big time battling going on in this group once again, being made up of Ty Marasco, Chris Carroll, Race Clark, Sam Bumgarn, and Jason Powell now throws his name in the mix. Same with Mark Arthur. We'll keep our eyes on this battle, folks, because this is getting interesting here. We'll have to take a wide view of this one, as it's the battle from 8th pretty much all the way to 13th. So about a 6-car battle here, being led by this one car of Ty Marasco. We get one lap traffic a little bit in the way for a few of these drivers. But all of these guys on new tires, except for the 18 of Jason Powell. James Miller and Matt Grunberg's gap between them is about 2.5 seconds. But the leaders are down pit road. Dalton Kilgore, Brian Dees, Jamie Walker all down pit road here. That should hand the race lead over back to James Miller, as Sam Bumgarn has an issue in this group. We'll have to see what happened to the 57 machine here going into this bus stop right behind Race Clark that we're looking at. As he gets into the bus stop here and gets sideways on the exit. He's going to have to try and save it, but I think he just keeps that thing out of the wall. Heck of a save from the 57 machine to keep that thing out of the wall, but he does lose quite a few positions because of it. He's now back down into 15th as this battle continues to go on through. As we get some more guys adding their names to this, Ty Marasco under heavy fire from Chris Carroll. Race Clark now under fire from Jamie Walker, who just came out of pit road. Mark Arthur trying to catch his group, got around Jason Powell. In a battle for the race lead within half a second. James Miller leading the way over Matt Grunberg. But there is the difference, right around 5 or 6 car lengths between the two for the race lead. As we look back here, Chris Carroll under heavy fire from Race Clark. The 02 machine gets a great run out of the infield and down this backstretch. They will go door to door to the bus stop. We'll see if either of them jump out of it early, if we'll have them both try and navigate this bus stop side by side. Race Clark tries to clear him on the outside. He does. Now he can set his sights on the one machine. But Chris Carroll gets a good run out of the bus stop. We'll see if he goes on the attack here going into the last chicane. It looks like they will be side by side here going into that one. As they both make it. The one car on the Turtles, both Turtles. That's going to hurt his run on off. Chris Carroll did get a piece of it too, so that's going to slow both of them down. Race Clark not able to make the most of it, though. Had to probably wait to get on the gas. As it looks like we've had a few cars with some incidents. Looks like Chris Legou, Joe Alberico, and Brad Collins all with some issues as we're watching this battle for 5th on back on the speedway. Chris Carroll able to get around Ty Marasco there. We'll see if the one car can get him on back, though. 24 a little bit loose off that corner. As they head into turn number 5, Race Clark sends it up the inside, just gets a nose in there. Ty Marasco has to react or else he gets turned, but they'll go side by side into this corner here. This is a heck of a battle. Jamie Walker watching right behind them as well, trying to see if he can take advantage of this. He's now to the inside of Race Clark as they head towards the bus stop. And they will go side by side through the bus stop. Wow, they somehow make it stick, but that opens up the door for Mark Arthur to now go side by side with Jamie Walker. As these guys are all battling very hard for these positions here. None of them want to give up a position. We all know how important these points can be. We look up to the front though. James Miller able to increase his gap over Matt Gruenberg. Maybe Gruenberg used up too much of his stuff trying to reel him on in. But the battle for the race lead has cooled on off. But this battle for fifth on back has not. Race Clark once again all over the back bumper of Ty Marasco. And that is also bringing along Jamie Walker and Mark Arthur once again. As Mark Arthur gets big time loose on the transition to the super speedway, has to really save that car, and that loses him a lot of precious time here. As Jamie Walker will look down the inside here into the bus stop. He'll jump on the brakes early, but now Race Clark had to send it on in a little bit deeper. Almost goes to the inside of Ty Marasco, but they get on through the bus stop cleanly here. As Corey Rutherford had a little bit of an issue. He gets passed by Sam Bumgar and keeps it going the right direction. But Ty Marasco, Race Clark, and Jamie Walker all under a blanket here at the Daytona road course. They seem to always be catching each other, but it's a whole another thing to pass each other. They cannot just quite get the pass done on one another. As the 0-2 machine of Race Clark now gets side by side with Ty Marasco. One of the tougher turns, folks. Very high speed as the 0-2 of Race Clark drives it on in there, gets a nose in this corner. We see them be side by side like this once before. Ty Marasco gets big time loose going through the gears there. That will give the position to Race Clark as long as he doesn't make a mistake. He overdrives it, folks. That opens up the door right back. And this race is not over for these drivers for these positions. As now Race Clark will go down low, defend the position. Now Jamie Walker will try his hand at getting around the one machine of Ty Marasco. Looks like the 88 will clear the one into the bus stop here. Looks like no one will try and make a move besides that, so Jamie Walker able to get away from that battle. But Ty Marasco is going to try and reel him back in here. As contact between the 12 and the 0-2 machine, they will loop it on around, get it back going for the most part, as Race Clark tries to get that thing rolling here, but he loses quite a few positions because of that. And heavy contact between the 0-2 and the 12. That will save, once again, Ty Marasco from maybe getting passed by some more cars, but That moves the 0-2 machine outside of the top 10 here. As for the race lead, Matt Grunberg has reeled back in our leader within a second. As these guys are some of the closest battles on track as they stand right now, folks. This time for the leaders, we will see 2 open palms, 10 laps to go here. But Matt Grunberg dives down pit road. He'll be the first taker. We'll see if he takes tires, what the game plan is from the 54 as Jay Miller stays out to complete another lap. Brian Dees this time in on pit road. We'll see if both the sides, one of the sides, none of the sides go on up for the 54. It looks like just fuel for the 54 machine. 4 tires for the 54 machine of Grunberg and some fuel. As we see the 17 of Brian Dees just take fuel only. That's the difference of time on pit road. Now James Miller comes to the decision. He knows that second place. Well, he doesn't know. Hopefully his crew chief or spotter tell him what the 54 did on pit road. He can afford to take 4 tires and not lose the race lead. But does he take only fuel, get that gap again, and hope that the 54 does not close in that gap? Or does he take 4 tires and let it be even square match between the two? We'll find out here probably this lap. As we see the 09 machine here head down to the bus stop. He's just got to hit his marks. No pressure out the back whatsoever. You just got to make sure he hits his marks and makes the right strategy call for this 09 machine. I assume we'll see him stay to the left out of the chicane and come on down pit road this time. And that we do. We see the 09 machine head down pit road, hauling down to that pit road speed. That was close on the pit road speed. I assume he got down to pit road speed. Dalton Kilrow also in this time. I assume we'll see most of the field on in, but does the 09 machine take for it or just fuel only? I don't see any of the sides going up, folks, so he's going to take the fuel only option, take the short pit, and hopefully come out way in front of the 54. And hopefully that tire difference does not make the difference. As he gets into the wall big time, leaving pit road. We'll have to see if that damage hurts that 09 machine, because that was some heavy damage to that right side. That will hurt him on these long straightaways. And Matt Grunberg, his car looks cleaner. So he's about 5 seconds back. Can he knock off a second a lap? It will be close, folks, as Jason Powell all over the back bumper of Dalton Kilrow. Dalton just pitted, so he's going to be able to drive away from the one machine. As the 88 has some trouble, Jamie Walker, he has pitted last on lap 43. He has an issue here in the infield part. We'll see what happened to this 88 machine in the fast left-hander. He must have gotten looser. Probably lost it under braking to this right-hander. As we will see what happened to the Mountain Dew 88 machine, and that's exactly what happened. Got a little upset, got some wheel hopping, and that rear end just came around, and he falls back to P number 4. And Dalton Kilrow on the attack, inside a second behind him. James Miller's lead is down to 3 seconds over Matt Gruenberg. We'll have to see how this works out now as Gruenberg hits both curbs just a little bit. That's going to hurt the run on off, and you see James Miller just pulling away ever so slightly down this front stretch because of it. Jamie Walker now down pit road this time. That'll give fourth position to Dalton Kilrow, who now sets his sights on Brian Dees. But Brian is 8 seconds ahead, so he's sitting in a pretty comfortable number 3 as long as he doesn't make any big mistakes. He'll be on the podium, and we'll be talking to him by the end of this one. As we look at our race leader, James Miller, trying to drive away from this guy, Matt Gruenberg. We'll ride on board with him here and see what he's doing to try and reel in his teammate, but the race leader. He is now about a second and a half back, folks. He can drive it in a little bit deeper than the leader, get on it a little bit sooner with those fresher tires, but we saw it happen the last time. He used up too much of his stuff to catch him and wasn't able to get close enough to make a move or get around him. The question is, will he have enough this time? As he closes the gap to right about a second here going into this last chicane here. This time by at the flag stand, we will see 7 laps to go. Chris Carroll now back inside the top 5 in that 24 machine. Ty Marasco in 6th, Jason Powell 7th, Jamie Walker 8th, Derek Paulson 9th, and then Mark Arthur rounding out our top 10 here for the back half of the top 5. And the battle for the race lead heating on up within 0.2 of a second, within a car length now. That 09 machine struggling with those old tires and that damage. Matt Gruenberg goes to the outside, and they are side by side for the race lead. Gruenberg hard on the brakes, gets a little bit of wheel hop, and they'll go door to door out onto the big track. This is the battle for the race lead here, folks. Matt Gruenberg trying to make it 3 in a row. James Miller trying to pick up a win and go for the sweep of the weekend. Fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying, and trying to get the race win as well as they split Fred Thompson down the backstretch. Holy smokes, and they'll go side by side into the bus stop and both make it stick. James Miller comes out on top just a little bit. Holy smokes. That could have got interesting very quickly. As Matt Gruenberg can drive that 54 machine in any deeper than anyone as he gets loose and into the wall. Matt Gruenberg just upset the car enough through that chicane there, gets into the wall, now loses about 3 seconds to James Miller, and that might be the race there. Now James Miller just has to hit his marks, but that 54 machine pushing that thing through the limit, got the wheel hop, and then got a little bit of wheel spin. I was just saying how that 54 can drive it in there deeper than anyone else out on track. But that time it cost him there. So we'll have to see if this 54 machine can catch him on back. But now he will have similar right side damage as the race leader. But already chipping away at the race lead. Already knocked off about half a second. So Matt Grunberg's got one more shot at the race lead here with 6 laps to go. You see how hard that 54 is on the brakes. Not only is he glowing those front rotors, excuse me, he's also getting those rear rotors very hot on that 54 machine. So he is trying to drive the wheels off this thing to make it 3 in a row here at Blazing Pedals. As Mark Arthur gets around Derek Paulson, that is for 9th position. Ty Marasco under fire here from the ADA of Jamie Walker. This is the battle for 6th on track. As the battle for the race lead, that time by Flagman, showed an open palm. 5 laps to go here around the Daytona road course, and Matt Grunberg is back, folks. He is trying to put the pressure on James Miller. He's definitely got the car to beat with those fresh tires. The question is, can he keep that car underneath him here? You just got to take his time, folks, hit his marks, and make the 09 machine make a mistake. He doesn't have to push all out just yet. As that 09 machine struggling to put that power down. You see him wheeling that steering wheel left, right, trying to get the power down. The 09 machine trying to block, but Grunberg going to look for an opening. We'll see if he outbrakes him into the bus stop here. As they go door to door, side by side into the bus stop. James Miller able to take the advantage, take the lead with it, and able to defend the position here for another half a lap. But this race for the race lead is far from over, folks. As James Miller gets a little bit loose on entry, gets the curb coming out of it. That opens up the door for Grunberg just a little bit more. Now within half a second here, once again, heading into turn number 1. This is where the 54 machine is so good. On the braking into turn 1, he's just able to close up so much gap, and especially here getting on the loud pedal. These guys are giving it all. They may be teammates, but they sure race very hard, and that's what I love to see here from teammates. They both want this win. They're both pushing each other to the absolute limit here inside of 5 laps to go. As it looks like Brandon Feeney may have had an incident there on track. But we'll keep our eyes on this battle for the race lead. Now the 54 slowly starting to struggle with rear grip. He's definitely pushing that thing to the limit. But James Miller making it very difficult to get around. He's very good at defending here. As James Miller did not get a good exit out of the bus stop, that opens up the door for Matt Grunberg. That's what the 54 needed to wait for. We'll see if the '09 machine has a run, if he'll give it a shot into this chicane here. That might have been the race first. Now Gruenberg has to hit his marks. James Miller very trying to drive the wheels off that thing as you see him get big time loose on both corner entry and corner exit there. But now Gruenberg has open track in front of him, and now he just needs to hit his marks, and he will make it 3 in a row here at Blazing Pedals. As Gruenberg able to keep this gap growing just a little bit, now grows it to about a second over the '09 machine. The '09 machine just hoping for a mistake, but Brian Dees in some heavy lap traffic here that may allow Don Kilroy to catch the 17 machine. This may be a battle here, heating on up for the podium position. Brian Dees tries to get around the 86 of Terry Foster. Don Kilroy is going to have to get around both of these cars here very quickly if he wants a shot at the 17, as they will go side by side into the bus stop, somehow make it through. That was close, but they did a heck of a job getting on through there. Matt Gruenberg opening up the gap, this time by popsicle sticks in the air from the flagman. 2 laps to go around the Daytona road course. Matt Gruenberg can put it on autopilot. He's looking pretty good, and he's looking to make it 3 in a row here at Blazing Pedals. As Don Kilroy was right behind those 2 drivers, now fell way behind, 2 seconds back from Brian Dees. So looks like Brian Dees just has to hit his marks for these last couple laps, and he should be in the podium positions, and we'll be able to talk with him after this race. Ty Marasco trying to catch the 88 of Jamie Walker. This would be the battle for 6th on track. That one car drives it in there deep. As we see these 2 trying to duke it on out. Ty Marasco has reeled him in now within half a second. The question is, can he get around this 88 machine? Oh, Jamie gets big time loose trying to put down the power. That may open up the door for Ty here by the time they get to this bus stop. He's within striking distance, thinks to go high. May have pulled out just a little too early. We'll see if the 1 car decides to go to the inside as we get the white flag here for the 51 machine of Matt Gruenberg. He's just got to make it through. Looks like Ty Marasco not able to close it on up enough. He will still be in the 7th position, but we'll keep our eye on our race leader, Matt Gruenberg, on his final lap here. Matt Gruenberg played the strategy perfectly. he had definitely the second car to beat. I think James Miller had maybe a little bit better pace, but that 54 machine managed his tires perfectly, did the right calls on the pit road stops, and he put himself in a great position here once again, and will try and make it 3 in a row. As he goes through turns 1 and 2 of the super speedway for the final time. He can put that thing in autopilot as he gets on the binders for the bus stop here. Manages that nice and easily. No need to do anything silly from our race leader. And Matt Gruenberg just got to take down one last chicane. And Matt Gruenberg out of the last corner. He's able to get it done. The 54 machine makes it 3 in a row. He is tonight's winner at the Daytona Road Course. Now we'll look for second place, James Miller, and that 09 Snap-on machine. I think only used one set of tires all night long. He will bring it home in second. Brian Dees will bring it home in third place in that 17 machine. Don Kilroe in fourth, and Chris Carroll up a whopping 17 positions. He will bring that thing home in the 5th position as he crosses the line right here. As I think a little bit of issue from the 57 machine on the white flag lap. We'll have to see what happened to him as he heads to the final turn in the infield portion of the racetrack. As he gets loose into the final turn. We saw that turn by a lot of people. As we got it kind of locked up here, folks. As Alrighty, we will go to commercial break. On the other side, we'll go talk to our top 3.
Shut up and sit down.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This
is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Alrighty, folks, we get back to the long pace speed here. So the 17 machine of Brian Dees actually ran out of fuel right after the start finish line. So we'll try and get a word with our third place finisher and see what all happened with him and how close he really was on fuel, because he was very close at the end. Brian, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
I got you. How's it going, Brett?
Oh man, pretty good, Brian. How was this car? And I saw you getting pushed back. How close did you cut it on fuel?
I think getting pushed back pretty much answered it. After taking the checkers, going into the first horseshoe turn, it started sputtering out of fuel. So
Yeah, I don't think you can cut it that much closer here at the Daytona road course than getting it to sputter there in the first horseshoe. So Brian, it seemed like the 17 machine was pretty stout tonight. I think you qualified inside the top 5 if my notes are correct, and it seemed like you had some pretty good pace, but nailed the strategy.
I think I started 6th.
Okay. So inside the top 10 for sure, right outside the top 5, but starting 6th, and you nailed the strategy, it seemed like. How often did you take tires here when you pitted under green?
The last stop is the only one that I didn't take tires on. Every other one I took tires. It kind of worked out where basically there was going to be one stop where you couldn't take tires, and I kind of figured that last one would probably be a short run anyway. So like I came in, changed tires with I think it was 17 laps to go, something like that. So basically I only had to run 6 or 7 laps before I could pit and make it on fuel, and cut it a little bit closer than I originally planned on, but hey, it worked out. It got me 3rd. I'm pretty pumped and excited about that. The 2 Team AV guys, Miller and Grunberg, they were kind of class of the field all night. I don't think I had anything for them unless, not going to lie, I was kind of rooting for them to get a little rough with each other and take each other out. And it'd be me and my teammate Dalton right behind me taking 1 and 2. But it was a good race. It's a lot of fun. I love this track. I like road racing. So, definitely happy with the 3rd.
Yeah, I was going to say, Brian, that was going to be my next question for you. Pretty impressive result, especially, like you said, how quick those 2 Team AV guys were. Did you have this race circled? Do you enjoy these NASCAR-style cars on some road course, or do you enjoy some road racing in general?
I enjoy road racing. I do a lot of the endurance races, like the 24-hour Rolex 24 here at Daytona. A couple other endurance races. So I'm definitely not the best at it. I'm not that experienced. I stick mostly to oval, but I definitely enjoy it when I get a chance, and I seem to usually do pretty well at most road courses, especially here. This is probably my favorite road course for the NASCAR style cars, at least.
Alrighty, Brian. Awesome job. Before we let you go, I'll give the mic over to you and let you thank for whoever you need from the 17 team here tonight for this 3rd place.
I got to thank all the league sponsors first. First and foremost, TRJ Karting. Tim over there, trjkarting.com. Awesome title sponsor. Been with us pretty much since the beginning, so awesome that he keeps on coming back. Butt Kicker for everything they do. Savage Edge for different graphics and stuff that Corey put up. Want to thank all the admins for keeping everything in check and everything. Mark for doing the setups. And then got my personal sponsor. Give a shout out to MFRD for this awesome paint scheme. I say it every time I can get a chance to on an interview, but Michael Falk at MF Racing Designs, best in the business as far as I'm concerned. If you need a paint, check them out on Facebook. And then gotta thank all my teammates at MFRD as well. Dalton had a really good run. I think actually 4 of us got top 10, so really good run as a team. Then a special mention, gotta give a thanks to Miller there at the end for giving me a little push back to the line here. Appreciate it.
Yep, some awesome teamwork and sportsmanship from these guys. And Brian, congrats on the 3rd place. That was a heck of a run for you. You timed out the strategy just perfect with the fuel. And best of luck to you going forward. And look forward to hopefully talking to you some more in the future, because that 17 machine, I definitely enjoy some silver cars out there on track.
Thanks, I appreciate it. And I didn't mention it, but thanks to you as well for the broadcast and everybody over at T3RN.
Alrighty, Brian, you have yourself a great rest of your night.
You do the same. Thanks.
Alrighty, that was the 17 machine of Brian Dees. Now we'll go ahead and talk to our 2nd place finisher. That would be James Miller. Of course, if we can get the camera on him. Here we go. Of course, we get a nice shot of the 54 machine. But we'll get a word with James Miller. James, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Alrighty, man. First and foremost, you think you could put that car in reverse a little bit? We're getting a lot of the 54 machine in the shot here.
You don't like my parking?
I mean, if you're fine with it, it's I bet it would make a pretty good screenshot. But if you don't want that, oh, here we go. Appreciate it.
Yeah, get him out of here.
Exactly. So James, how was that car? And I swear you never took tires during a green flag run. Was that true tonight?
Yeah, I guess that was my downfall. Didn't have any tires for mine at the end, and I was trying to figure it out. I just couldn't, I don't know, think of it on the fly of the strategy, and it just seemed like I felt like if I took tires, I'd lose too much time. But obviously, well, Matt did it, and he made it work. So yeah, I only took tires at the halfway point, and they were pretty mad at me at the end.
Yeah, but that's pretty impressive to go that whole race with only taking 1 set of tires, James. It shows you what kind of wheelman you were, but it did seem like you were struggling with those tires there, especially at the end. But I thought, at least I know if you thought it too, when Matt Grunberg got that wall going out of that last chicane with like 6 to go, I said, oh man, James got this thing now. Matt definitely used up his stuff to at least get to him, but man, that 54 had some speed there at the end. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, I was just honestly, ever since I took tires, that restart, I just didn't really drive it well, and it just understeered pretty much the rest of the run, so I could never really turn in like I needed to. So it was either driving in deep and let it wash up and just kind of miss the exit, or have to brake really early. So yeah, Matt having tires definitely wasn't helping us. But yeah, when he hit the wall, at first I thought it broke, but I broke the wheel, but I figured he probably didn't hit it hard enough for that to happen. I knew he'd get back to me. I was just like, okay, good. I have some breathing room to cool these tires down, but I just used them up too much throughout the race throughout that run, and I didn't have anything for him.
Yeah, but still, hats off to you, James. That's heck of a drive from you to come home second and have the pace that you did, especially with those old tires. Definitely shows what kind of wheelman you are. I know you probably wanted a second win already this season. You already got one under your belt, but I'm sure we'll be talking to you more in the future because this thing looks pretty good. Is this a paint scheme that might stay on this machine here for a few more races?
Yeah, this is the road course scheme I've decided. So next road course, it'll be back out.
There we go. That's I like it. It definitely stands out, especially under these lights at night. But before we let you go, James, and celebrate this runner-up finish, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you, and I'm sure you got a lot of people to thank for this '09 machine here tonight.
Yeah, just thanks to the Team AV guys for sticking with it in the race and helping me through it too. And shout out to Race for finishing it, even though he got a bit of car contact there throughout the middle. But hopefully we'll see Jeffrey Fisher next week. He should be getting internet this upcoming week, so I look forward to racing with him again. And shout out to Matt Hackathorn.
Alrighty, James. You have yourself a great rest of the night. Look forward, and I think we'll be talking to you here some more in the future. That '09 machine seems pretty quick.
I hope so, and I hope we can get Matt to stop winning or something, because that's like 3 in a row.
Exactly, yeah. It's kind of 3 in a row now. Someone needs to throw down a bounty or something here soon.
I think so.
Alrighty, James. You have a great rest of your night.
All right, you too.
And now, folks, we'll go down to Victory Lane and talk to the 54 of Matt Gruenberg. Matt, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet here in the booth.
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, Matt. You got the job done, and you make it 3 in a row. How was this 54 machine? And we saw the interest and strategy calls there right before the stage caution. You're able to lead the way to green. You and James there had an awesome battle, but overall, you took the tires, fell back about 5 seconds, and was able to get the job done. What was it like with the battles and pushing this car to the limit like you did?
Yeah, I had the experience from the first part of the race, but for the competition caution on how the 4 tires was going to work versus James not taking tires. And I felt like if I just stopped making mistakes that I could make it work in the later half of the race. And then I was questioning if he was going to take tires as well, and he didn't, which honestly really paid off for us. I think that's what gave us the win, because he was faster than me by far, and I think had he taken tires at least once in that final stage, he would have gotten the win. So thanks to James on his questionable pit strategy.
Yeah, it definitely was an interesting one. You could save about 5 seconds if you didn't take tires, but man, it seemed like you could close in that gap within at least the first 5 or 6 laps or so, and you did just that. But Matt, we got to ask, you hit the wall in that last chicane coming out of it with like 6 to go. What was kind of running through your mind at that point and right after that? Because it was like, was that the end of the race? How bad's that damage to that 54 machine? Because you got the wall pretty good.
Yeah, initially I thought the damage might have been a little too much. I thought the right front wheel might have broke there. It didn't, fortunately. And then just after driving, after I hit the wall, the car felt fine. So I figured as long as I just ran a smooth race, I would be able to make it back to James and hopefully get by him there before the end of the race.
Yeah, and you did just that, Matt. Heck of a job to make it 3 in a row. Are we going to have to start putting bounties or something out there for this 54 machine? Now you won at pretty much every different track on a schedule. So, I mean, what's going to take to stop from keeping the streak from going on?
I think, honestly, just take my luck away, and I think someone else will win. Tonight it was James. I got lucky with him not taking tires. To win these races, you got to be good and lucky, and fortunately, I was lucky tonight.
Yep, but of course, got to take some skill to be in that position to receive the luck, and that's what you did once again, Matt. Heck of a job from you. Heck of a race for this 54 machine. Back in victory lane, 3 in a row. Matt, I'm going to go turn it over to you here. I'm sure there's got to be a whole bunch of people you got to thank here in victory lane here tonight.
Yeah, first I want to thank the fans that watch the YouTube broadcast and watch you commentating the race and watching us race around here each week. It's always nice to have people rooting us on each week. And shout out to Samantha and all the Team AB guys. I know some of us didn't have the results we wanted tonight, and some of us got caught up in some accidents. But thanks to Team AB guys, and thanks for James and Jeff for making these awesome paints each week.
Alrighty, Matt. You have yourself a great rest of the night. Go crack open a cold one or whatever you need to down in Victory Lane. Go celebrate it. You definitely earned this one, even with maybe a little bit of luck or interesting strategy calls there from the 09 machine. But awesome job. I'm sure we'll be talking to you more in the future. You go have yourself a great rest of your night, Matt.
Thank you. You too.
Alrighty, folks. That was our race winner, Matt Gruenberg, in the 54 machine for Team AV, getting the job done. Now we'll throw it up and get ready to run through these race results. Of course, my overlay, not the most happy with me, so we'll run it through old school way. We won't have the results up on screen, but I'll read them out to you, folks. Matt Gruenberg gets the job done in the 54 machine. Parks it in Victory Lane, makes it 3 in a row here at Blazing Pedals. James Miller in the 09 machine brings it home second. Definitely was one of the cars to beat here tonight. Brian Dees rounds out our top 3. Dalton Kilroe finishes in 4th. And Chris Carroll in the 24 machine rounds out the top 5. Ty Marasco in the 1 finishes 6th. Jamie Walker in 7th. Jason Powell in 8th, Mark Arthur in 9th, and rounding out our top 10, a heck of a bounce back. He did go a lap down right before the stage caution. That is Derek Paulson finishing in 10th. Corey Rutherford brings it home 11th. 12th goes to Sam Bumgarn. Race Clark brings it home 13th. Kyle Wellman 14th, and Josh Rutherford rounds out our top 15. 16th goes to Phil Van Fleet. Tanner Mars 17th. Terry Foster in 18th, Brandon Feeney 19th, Brad Collins 20th, 21st Chris Legou, 22nd Fred Thompson, 23rd Joe Alberico, 24th Ian Habiak, 25th Taylor Butcher Benjamin, 26th Randy McCanney, 27th Amanda Sherman, 28th Jordan McAvoy, 29th Corey Sherman, 30th Randy McAvoy, 31st Casey Campbell, 32nd John Perkins, and 33rd Paul Ellison. So that will do it for tonight's finishing order here at the Speedway. Of course, we got to thank all the live viewers sticking it out here. Got to appreciate every single one of you, all the live viewers, all the YouTube commenters. Got to thank you for keeping me in the loop. Let me know who you're rooting out for. Let me know who to put the camera on. Always a good time chatting with me, so appreciate all you guys. Got to give a shout out to all the replay viewers. Got to give a shout out to Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to check them on out throughout the week for all sorts of good racing action. And of course, if you need, be sure to check out TRJ Karting for all of your karting needs. Also, if you need a paint scheme here for the iRacing, be sure to check out MF Racing Design on Facebook. If you need to put a logo, graphic, anything you need, be sure to check out SavageEdge.com. And if you look to make your iRacing sim setup to take it to the next level, be sure to check out Butt Kicker for all your upgrades. I have, of course, been Brett the Jet. This has been Blazing Pedals Arca Series, race number 8 in the books. Everyone have a great rest of your night. Take it easy. We will be back same time, same place next Sunday. And of course, have a good one. And just flew by you. Good night, everyone.